Welcome, everyone, to our Salon number 72, Teaching Gifting Ways, Matriarchy and Montessori. We are so happy that you're spending part of your Saturday morning with us, or perhaps even evening, wherever you are in the world. This salon is hosted by Genevieve Vaughan and the International Feminists for a Gift Economy in the Maternal Gift Economy Breaking Through series. I am Letecia Layson, your moderator. We are really, really excited to bring to you this salon. One of Jen's passions has been, how can we get the message of the maternal gift economy and expand it? And this is one of the ways. These two women who we're having today are endeavoring to ensure that future generations and current generations have educational means to be able to understand and bring it to their communities. Our first speaker today is Chiquie Estrada. She's the owner of La Casa de Bambini in Kyle, Texas. She's been supporting children to reach their full potential in a holistic way, guiding children's self-development by linking them to the activities in prepared classrooms and outdoor environment. She was born in Guatemala and moved to the U.S. in 1976. In 78, she began her training. She began actually working with the Montessori International in Atlanta, Georgia, and then worked in several Montessori schools in Austin, Texas, before starting her own school in Kylie. She met Jen in 1986 and began familiarizing herself with the gift economy. And in 2002, she opened La Casa de Bambini, which combines the philosophy and practice of Montessori and the gift economy. Welcome, Chiquie. After Chiquie speaks, Sabina Santovetti, an Italian mother, architect, designer, teacher, spiritual ecologist, and artist, runs a boutique architecture and design firm in Rome. Her ecosophy focus on spiritual feminine ecology. She is starting a school retreat eco village on the hills of Umbria in Nari with the name of Matriculture, which opened this summer. We are very excited for her to tell us all about that educational system and what she's planning on doing, creating community. Today, we also have Cory Holzinger, who is calling in from Austria, and Sabina will introduce her when she speaks. So I would love to welcome Chiquie and hand over the mic. Welcome, Chiquie, and thank you so much for taking time out of your weekend. I know you're very busy at this time, so welcome.
Hello, everybody. I am happy to be here sharing the part of the gift economy that I am acquainted with. As she said about me, I met Genevieve, and when I met Genevieve, she invited me to speak about the gift economy that they were having. And I was enchanted by the talk. It was incredible to hear ideas of living in peace without money exchange. You know, how different it will be as the set that capitalism has created. And it was, some of it was hard to understand. And so I left the meeting with the longing of wanting to know more about it. I continued to visit with Genevieve, and I became part of a group of women that were also learning about the gift economy in that time, and were getting together. They were creating avenues for us to practice gift economy within the patriarchal system, and seeing how we could make it be known everywhere. There was a variety of programs there were art programs, that there were programs of learning how to work with the radio and the TV, to spread the philosophy. There was a beautiful rental house that people could go visit and spend some time of relaxing at the beach while planning on how else to approach the gift economy. And the beach house was part of the gift economy because we were able to enjoy it even when we could not afford that luxury. So we were thinking about how many projects we could create on gift, based on gift economy. And one of the ones that I participated first was in getting things from the villagers of other countries without using the middlemen, and in that way allowing the people that was creating the goods to have the gain of the money, and instead of having to give it to the middleman. And so it was an awesome experience. It was very non-traditional, and I just kept learning, and it got to a point that I'm like, why are we even able to live without the gift economy? And it makes me feel very strongly that I wanted to be part of it. That one of the first things that I learned that was so different than the patriarchal setup of capitalism was the fact of giving without expecting anything in return, or even giving without asking a bunch of intrusive questions that might not even have to do with what you're giving. I was used to the charity created by capitalism, where they make you feel like you're incapable. They take your dignity away from you because you are in a need. And so gift economy was almost a new knowledge, because I thought we all are in need at some times in our lives. And of course, this was a gift economy, so it was pretty much connected with the monetary system, which is the biggest evil that we fight, the one that was created by the society that we live in. So it was just really interesting. I stayed close to Genevieve and continued to learn and participate on some of the projects. And then I realized after a while that I have been given an honor to have work influences like Genevieve. And parallel to that, I had studied to be a Montessori teacher. And so I thought that Maria Montessori as well was a visionary woman that created this type of education that was absolutely non-traditional. And it was pretty much following the basics of gift economy. And so, it just really, it just really amazed me how in my life, I was able to study about this woman, and then I'm given the opportunity to meet Genevieve, who is talking about the gift economy and spreading it out in Austin, and at that time, mainly in Austin, and just have the opportunity to be part of it. So Maria Montessori, I'll talk a little bit about Montessori, and I will go back and forth about Montessori and gift economy, so you can see how Montessori fits very well on the beliefs of gift economy. So Maria Montessori was a doctor, and she was supposed to be a teacher. Because she was a woman, but she insisted that she was going to be a doctor. It was incredibly hard for her at that time because she had to do everything by herself. No man wanted to work with her, and she will be by herself and doing autopsies and kind of it was a new thing. This was the 1800s, the late 1800s, and so she had to endure a lot of things to be able to do that. But after being a doctor, she started working with human, and she noticed that children had within themselves the ability to develop if you give them the necessary tools that work with their stage of development. And so she felt that if the children were learned that way, the environment will be so peaceful that this could be a school for a world of peace. And so then I also know that Genevieve Vaughan started the philosophy of gift economy by observing the way that a mother gave to their children. The giving was on unilateral gifting, knowing that the baby cannot give back, and the giving comes from the heart. Maternal gift giving takes place in everyday activities. And so gift giving educates naturally, educates a person in the understanding of giving without exchange of money for things. The established money exchange is what has gotten us in a world of greed, competition, and lack of compassion to our fellow humans. And instead, we have been trained to put price tags on everything. Capitalism, which is the global way in which communities work, is a tool of hate. It has taught us that a doctor has more value than a janitor. So the doctor makes $170 an hour. Of course, this is not every doctor, but this is a low pay for a doctor an hour. And then it says at least 4 patients. And so the doctor ended up making $680 an hour. The janitor works physically very hard and can make many as much as $60 an hour. So she or he works 8 hours a day of hard labor and makes $450 a day, while the doctor generates $5,440. So it is very easy to see how one is more able to provide to the family and give opportunities, and how the other one cannot achieve this and cannot live in luxury. And so then we're told the doctor is more important, the janitor is just a servant and a tool. But we don't stop and think that without the cleanliness that the janitor brings to the clinic, the doctor will have a filthy clinic full of germs, very non-appealing to the public. And so, when we went through COVID-19, it was very easy for many people to see how essential workers that were, firemen, teachers, nurses, and people that cleans were essential to keep us going. And so it was kind of sad, because what happened is that as everybody is trying to take care of COVID at their house, then like we teachers are at the schools working and the janitors are cleaning. And so, we need to maintain the places. So we have to continue to work. So in saying all that, I was privileged to be able to start a project for gift economy and start a Montessori school in Kyle, which had principles of we were not gonna make the prices incredible, high, and unreachable like most Montessori schools. And we were going to give scholarships to the children, since we could not just do it absolutely like we hope that one day this works for free. And so we started the school in 2002, and the school created jobs, and the school has served by now 480 families. And so in contrast of this school that is a project of the gift economy. There are at least 300 Montessori schools in Texas, and 297 of them serve people that are very well off. There is one Montessori school in Dallas that was created for the less fortunate. There was one that I used to work in Austin on the east side before La Casa de Bambini was created. And we are pretty much the only ones that follow gift economy standards. Montessori, I'll talk a little bit about Montessori so you can see the difference on traditional school, because the way that we educate the children are going to form their thoughts, and their thoughts are going to form their actions, and their actions are going to form their habits, and their habits is going to form their personalities. And so, we compared. I'm not going to talk too much about the traditional school, because I'm sure that all of you know very well how the traditional school works. So I'm going to talk more about how Montessori works. And one of the beautiful things about Montessori is that Montessori is not based on gender. We work with little children from 2 to 6 years old, and and is on their strong formative stages. And we do use all the materials that Maria Montessori created. She created a curriculum within the materials that goes higher and higher levels as the children grow. But in Montessori, boys do the things that will be traditional more for girls, like they wash the dolls, they sew, they cook. They are not, like, they do their hairstyles, and sometimes they want to put a ponytail, or they want to hold their hair with a barrette. And and those things are just normal things that are appealing to them, and there's no telling, oh no, don't do this one, because this one is for a girl and boys don't play with dolls, so here, have this, and you can do that activity, like a hammer and a nail, because that's more boyish. On the same token, the girls get to do the hammers and the nails, and they get to do all the activities that are displayed in the classroom. So there is no a gender taken into consideration for any of the activities that the children work with. They do take care of the environment. They sweep, they mop, they take care of the plants, they make foods, and all that, again, is the boys and the girls. Whoever makes the mess cleans the mess. Whoever has the spill cleans the spill. Whoever is into doing the work of sewing makes little pillows, so buttons. And so those are skills that will help the individual gift giving when they are part of a group of people, and they're all working together. And like I said in this example, they are taking care of each other, the environment, and whoever needs to bring the pitcher brings the pitcher, whoever needs to sweep sweeps, and jobs are just happening as they're working with each other. So they become very aware of the needs of others and how they can satisfy them. And the role of the guide in a classroom is you give a lesson and you give directions, but you do not expect that children are going to do it perfect. And so there is not much stress for the children because they know that they can make mistakes, and mistakes are actually part of the learning process. And so when the children make a mistake, you use it as a teaching moment. So let's say we are carrying pitchers for pouring milk, and we drop it in the middle of the classroom. And so instead of saying, oh, look what you've done, in a more traditional environment, go away, I need to clean up that mess, we say, okay, let's go get the broom, let's go get the mop, let's clean this mess together. And so, the teachers do work on their the guidance, but every time they become more able to do things by themselves. So so the Montessori school goes on like that, giving the experience, or make them, the main thing is to be aware of the community, because then we recognize the needs of the community. We also, through books, do activities. We read books like Free or Not Free, and we talk about them, and we talk about the difference when things are not free and when things were free. We talk about the stone soup and talk about how important it is when the whole community give, and the happiness they bring to all of us. And all those are principles of gift economy, because that makes us generous, that makes us aware of needs. And when we start doing that, when the children are very young, then they have a really good sense of dignity, of human value, of justice, of communication, of the relationship, the interrelationship, the unilateral gift, you know, and that is very important. If we form ourselves like that, more likely it will be part of who we are. And even though when we go to the world, we will have already foundations that are strong. Also, we try to get our parents involved. We have a garage giving where all of them bring all their stuff, and then among themselves they choose the things that they want, and then we put it to the neighborhood, and the children will cook and make lemonades and greet the people that comes to our garage giving, and give them lemonade and telling them that all of that is free. And what we have seen through the years is that at the beginning, people will come and just load their trucks. And as a principal, we didn't tell them not to do that, you know, but they noticed that, oh, next year they had the same possibility, and next year, we've been there for 22 years. So now people not only just chooses what they really want to use and what they're gonna take and treasure, but they also bring some things to our garage giving. So if somebody else gets there, they can also find something that they will have to give and treasure. So we encourage the parents to participate and be role models, and we talk to the children day in and day out, and we try for the gift economy, be the core of beliefs of the gift economy, to be inculcated on their personalities. The school, like I said, has been working for 22 years. We are still the school that has the lowest tuition, including daycare centers. And so that allows parents that do not really know what Montessori is to enroll their children in a daycare center, and they little by little see the difference on their children that the program creates. We give scholarships to the children, and so that's the main gift that the school does. And we do tie it to the monetary aspect, because we are gift economy, meaning that much of the problem, if not most of the problem, is the way that money is used. And so the school from 2002 to 2023 has been able to give $849,566 to the community. And so we feel that, and the parents know that, the parents that are getting the benefits, they see that they're not being scrutinized, they're not being asking questions, they're not being put on the spot. We never ask how much money do you make and how you spend it, you know, or, you know, if they tell us that they lost their job and they will no longer be able to send the children, will say, well, we are part of the gift economy, which allows you to continue to send your children until you get on your feet again. Many of them already hear that we give scholarships, and they call and they said, we know that you help the community, and I have these children, and I need this kind of help, and we give a scholarship based on that. We honor their words, and in our 20 years experience, we have unfortunately experienced some people that maybe had asked for help that they did not need it, but most of the parents become givers themselves. And that's a big thing in the school. We are always talking about how giving makes you richer and giving brings you happiness, and that money cannot buy. And so that's how the school works, and that's how we hope to continue to work. And we are hoping to have people that wants to be trained in Montessori, which is the new gift that Genevieve and I have been talking about. People that would want to have a group of women and men and be trained in Montessori, and I will do the training with no charge. The people that is interested will have to buy the Montessori materials and be able to bring me back and forth to the place, but that will be the only expense. This last year, I trained 2 people in the school, and the training was $24,000 a year, which I thought it gotten ridiculous. When I was trained, the training was $6,000 a training. So, things will change, but we hope that we don't. And we hope that we keep giving. And I know that there's many women that talk on this work in these salons, and the way that they give to the economy, to the world. And if we put all the efforts together, we do have a chance to have a world of peace and compassion and love, and not really needs, since all our needs will be fulfilled by the gift economy. So thank you very much for the opportunity of today. I was a little nervous because I had made my speech and my computer broke. As I was carrying it, I dropped it. And so it has to come kind of all from my head. But I hope that it was helpful to some of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chiquie. Jen, did you have anything you wanted to add before we actually have Sabina? You need to unmute, my friend.
Well, no, I just want to congratulate Chiquie for doing this for all of these 22 years. It's just amazing. And want to hear even more about it. And I'm going to come visit you soon.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you, Chiquie. That was very wonderful and quite the generous offer, the gift of teaching Montessori. So I have put your website in the chat for those of you who want to stay connected to Chiquie. And I would now like to introduce and hand the mic over to Sabina, who is just beginning her endeavor of educating with with modern matriarchal studies and the maternal gift economy. So in 20 years, we hope to see what she has done. All right. So Sabina, welcome.
I hope in
Cory.
20 years I'm going to be still alive, because I'm 66. So you're wishing me well, and I take this challenge, so that I will be trying to live for the next 22 years. Thank you, Chiquie, for the beautiful talk, and I'm ready to. I hope that you will come also to Italy, to Narni, to give us maybe a course on the Montessori. Montessori is a wonderful woman, and our courses are about empowerment of women, the empowerment of women with tools that are ecological and tools that come from different diamonds, of which one is Genevieve Vaughan maternal gift economy. But there's in the tools that we're using in the school that just started. Basically, we started this year. So our first course was in July. And I'm here. I also invited Cory to participate to this call because she was one of the first participants last year in the SHE-ED. I have written it. I have the little poster. And that was our first course that we actually did in Mariano Sabina. SHE-EDE means she, well, you all know, it's women. But EDE is the acronym of Eco-Village Design Education. So it comes from Gaia Education. And I have taken the program, which is a very rich program, following the 4 dimensions of the wheel of this cultural, social, ecological, and economic, and adding to it matriarchal studies, adding to it the work to reconnect as a tool, adding to it maternal gift economy, transition town movement tools. And I also come from Schumacher College. So I'm an architect, but decided 6 years ago to drop everything and to start a new life, going back to study, getting my master in ecological design thinking, which means getting the knowledge to organize programs related to ecology, but also related, I realized that being a woman, I needed to also empower women because there is a lot of need to empower women. So this is how I sort of little by little grew in me this SHE-EDE, which started in 2023. And Cory was one of the participants. She's I'm going to present her. Cory, she's Austrian. She's a wonderful woman that is working as a media designer, a graphic designer. So she's been also helping us and Matriculture, the school, with the website, with the communication. But she's also a facilitatress, and she's also working to become a priestess of the goddess. So she's really following. When I met her, I said, "You are a witch." I really felt that, because we have also in our courses, there is the sacredness and the spirituality of matriarchal mystery festivals, of the sacredness of the life cycles. So this is also another of the tool that we're using. And I will ask afterward Cory to just be telling us a little bit how it was to be part of this SHE-EDE. But before that, I will just give you a quick talk on what is, the school and how it came. It came to me as a dream work. We also teach, one of the tools that we use is the dragon dreaming. And the first thing that we all do when we want to create something is to dream. And to dream about something is really something that creates, with this dream, you can really create a project. So I really started by, I started by this drawing, in which I started to imagine and to dream this place and the school. And in the school, I really got, and actually I did this design 6 years ago, and all of these things are coming into life. Now in 2024, we started the school in Narni, but before then in Mariano Sabina. And in the future, it will go in Nashira, Colombia, and we will move around the world. So all of this started out of trying to imagine. So whenever you want to really start a project, start something, what we do in our school is to design your dream. It is so important to start putting into colors, into writings, into poetry, into songs, into art, in whatever you want, your dream. And that was really the beginning of my journey. But on the other hand, I really wanted to vision I knew that I really wanted to design a school that was a she space for facilitating her ecological change. So I really think that we really need, as a woman, we need that women empower themselves. We need to give confidence. Women need to gather in groups, creating communities. And she is we always. So it's really looking for sisterhood on this transformational life journey, where she place is going to be the ongoing space for we, her, to learn how to be part of a regenerative, transformative, collective, and spiritual motherly ecosystem of the great turning spirit. So the great turning is the visioning, is actually the visioning of Joanne Amazing, is coming back to life, is the work that reconnects. So it is really, the future is about a great turning that we have to make. So in this process, of visioning, I have thought about and really felt, and it was really a journey of months of nurturing myself into this project. And I would like to bring, also the matriarchal aesthetic art in the words of Virginia Woolf. I will not be famous, great. I will go on adventuring, changing, opening my mind and my eyes, refusing to be stamped on and stereotyped. The thing is to free oneself, to let it find its dimensions, not be impeded. In this, I find all the matriarchal aesthetics of about going into a project in which we are not, the egocentrical, pyramidal, sort of hierarchical. We are in this fluid, motherly, sensational, common, collective work. And this is how we need to work as women. It is a change in paradigm. So this feminine EDE that actually became the She EDE is a 5 weeks course. Actually, we changed it into 4, that takes inspiration from the Eco-Village Design Education curriculum, but at the same time is designed to welcome intergenerational female participants to investigate, to collaborate, and to bring awareness in a patriarchal world about everything that concerns us female humans as maidens, mothers, and crones through spiritual she tools and practices. So a proposal for a shift of consciousness with a motherhood approach. So the motherhood is a very important part. It's not about feminine or masculine, it's about going and really touching our motherhood inside ourselves. And in this project, a lot of visions were collected together. And of course, the proposal at the time where I started to vision was to have a course at the Eco Hostel in Mariano Sabina. And this has happened. We made it become a reality. And in 2023, the first She happened, in which Cory was a participant. And then from there, I started to imagine a 2024, imagine that this was imagined years before, a proposal of embodying existing matriarchal communities. And this is where I started to imagine to go in different places, like the Mosù or the Minangabao. But in my journey, I met Angela Dolmetsch. And from there, in February 2025, we're going to have a She EDE in Colombia, in a matriarchal community, which is called Nashira. So as you see, things are sort of fluidly changing. The energy is moving and we are creating. And so the proposal became many names that at the end ended up being the She EDE. And that was also a collective work that we did with many women. And the She EDE came out of, councils that we did. What is that we feel is the right words, the right name. So it all was a collective coming together and working. So I had many scenarios, and the scenarios actually became the curriculum. So we have, the course is about a womb within the great mother womb. And this is really important because it's about really connecting with the woman as a mother. And then it's about really about trying also to imagine letting all the yin intuitive sensation parts in ourselves coming out, more than the thinking and feeling, but also this is, you know, the diagram from Jung, but it's about really recreating all of this together in the exercises that you do into our courses. So the feminine voice is about trying to find all these emotionals and these sensations. The obvious scenario that I have developed, that we are working with the tools of the Work to Reconnect, and this is really a very integral part of the project. So we're using the Work to Reconnect in our curriculum. We use tools like, you know, the heroine's journey and the goddess journey also. So there are tools that we're working. We're working also bringing consciousness into the deep time walk of 100,000-year history of women. And in this, there is The Chalice and the Blade. There are books that we asked, or When God Was a Woman. And of course, you know, it's not here, but we also advise our she students to read Genevieve Vaughan's books. So, I mean, here we have the books, you know, and so you can see that the sixth scenario is to bring two great women that have been working in, you know, matriarchal societies, Heidegger and Abendrost, and in maternal gift economy is Genevieve Vaughan. So we are working in this curriculum. We use also looking at existing matriarchal society from the levels of the political, economical, social, and cultural, spiritual. And in this, we have in the economic, of course, the maternal gift economy as part of the course. This is the She EDE. It takes inspiration, and it's actually a certified program of Gaia education. And this is the wheel that and the book that the girls, the students, there's a lot of women that are not girls at all, you know, they're mothers, they're grandmothers. So we have women of all ages that are coming, and actually we'd be having in our courses mothers and daughters, and actually 3 generations, which is so nice because it's been also a journey of healing for mothers and daughters, and it's been really a wonderful experience. But I mean, going back, we actually use this this program, the Gaia Education Wheel, but at the same time, which is very, and we need to have 125 hours of course plus 25 hours of project. So you come in the EDE with your dream. As I had my dream, you come with your dream, and then at the last 25 hours, you develop the dream into a project and you present that project. And a lot of women that came to the courses, they are actually bringing the project in our Shidi, but then they go out and they create their projects. So it's very, very touching to have be in contact with other women that then they call back and they open communities, or they do, you know, different things. I mean, in our projects last year, we had a group that created a matriarchal kindergarten, for example, or a group that actually created a website in which to connect all the different realities. And so it was, and Sophia, which is part of our She EDs in Portugal, she opened up a community. So she started a community after the She EDE in Italy. So this is the program, and this is the program combined to the matriarchal society vision. So you have the wheel of the ecological dimensions, but you also have the wheel of the matriarchal society, which the ecological dimension is actually intrinsic. It's an intrinsic value for the matriarchal society because they're all agricultural societies. And we in the ecological wheel, we teach and we bring about permaculture, we bring about new systems or old systems of buildings. So this is really what we are doing. And as you see, they're combined. At the social level, you know, we have
10
motherhood
minutes.
as a cultural model. And
10
this is
minutes,
really what we
Sabina.
have in the She. And then as a worldview, we have, you know, the cultural level, the sacred society and culture of the goddess. So this is what we have. And at the political level, we have the consensus, grassroots societies. And obviously at the economic level, we have the maternal gift economy. So these are all combined and they create the curriculum. So these are also, this is another scenario in which we have to deal also with the patriarchal system and, you know, and they compare and to see patriarchy in relationship to matriarchies. What is the difference and what is, you know, toxic about the patriarchal system? And this is really important. This is some of the interesting books that, you know, we're asking. But in our courses, it's a lot about creating questions and working together and working with these questions in order to really come out with the personal solution. So it's really a sort of head, heart, and hands work. It's not really a work like a university that you have a cognitive study. It's really about working in connection with tools that are not necessarily just you know, lectures. And then we have other, you know, scenarios that, of course, is to find ourselves. And this is also very important. In these courses, people work also on themselves, to work also on the cyclicity of life, the maiden, the mother, and the crone, and all the goddess. And so we do a lot of rituals in the school. And, you know, we have the mythology. So we try to also look at the mythology. And also we work with permaculture, as I said. So there is also the part in which we work with also with our hands and we create things. And obviously witchcraft and this is like really most of the program that we are doing in our courses. I would like, before, you know, I continue on and on, to give the word to Cory, because she was part of the first She, and I would like, she was a testimony of our first course. So I would like to give you space to tell us how it was and how, because also Cory, she's continued to be working now with me and with a lot of other facilitators. So now she's part of the team. And so Cory, I throw you the ball.
Thank you so much, Sabina. Yeah, I think we have some time left, so quickly for me to share my journey with the maternal gift economy, because long before, 3 years ago, without knowing what it was, I realized basically all my life that capitalism is not good, is not working, because it doesn't support community, it doesn't support women, it doesn't support the female energy, it doesn't support art. And I studied art, and after my studies, during COVID, I met a female teacher of mine, and I decided to leave my life behind and follow her to France. And we were traveling, being nomadic, traveling from community to community. So I saw many different communities. And I realized also something is not working, because many of those communities would fall apart. And after a year of being nomadic with her and with other women, I found out about the Chiquie, and that really changed my life again, because then I took the Chiquie in Italy and I went through the whole program with these amazing women, and I cried for a whole week minimum because it was such a eye-opening experience. And I realized what it needs to be in a functioning community, and that the first realization was I don't have to do it alone. I don't have to rediscover the wheel. I don't have to rediscover how a community works, because there's already tried and tested tools which help a community to be functioning and self-sustaining over long periods. And then I learned that there is this whole world of eco-villages around the world, eco-village network, global eco-village network. And I was like, wow, there's like a new universe opening. And I saw that it will be the future, at least my future for sure. And I hope the future for many, many, many people. And this is like really what I want to support. And then this whole month, because the first GDE was a whole month, so 30 days being together, it was really this feeling, first of all, learning how to live together, but really this feeling of being a matriarchal community. And we had 2 children, like 1 baby and 1 small child, and we were all taking care together for this child. And I remember at night, like when he would cry, I would just next door, I would just go, and the mother would be downstairs, and I would just like take care of him and play with him or read the book and stuff, and cooking together and just being together and really becoming, in a way, this sensation of one big body together, and slowly developing how we can function in a group. And always about giving what I can give, because a functioning community is about giving, not like you don't join a community because you want to take, but because you can give more than you want to take. So that's my turn on community. And like when everyone gives what he can or she can, then it's just functioning. And then all the tools, like for example, sociocracy and consensus, like was a new world for me to understand that the whole system we're in could be different, could be completely working much healthier, much more inclusive, much more with each other, because I knew the world I came from is against each other, and I always felt this is not how I can live, not how I want to live. I want to be in a circle with, like, everyone to be heard. And suddenly all of these things came true in this GDE reality, and teaching people, teaching women, teaching people how this can really work in a world. And then after, like in the GDE, my project with the other women was to make a nest. We called it a moon nest, to have women supporting each other for their project. So we would put a project in the nest, and then all our resources are shared together. Everyone gives what they can to bring this project to life, like making a music album or making a book or making whatever. And with all the resources, we together can make it happen. And then if there would be money generated from it, it would go back to the circle, to the nest. So a self-sustaining project development, birthing to life hub. And yeah, these are the little things that big things that happened. And after the GDE, like I stayed in contact with all of these women. And then 1 year later, Sabina asked me to join the program. And I was like, of course, because this is what the world needs. I really want to support it. So I'm very happy to now be part of it continuously and to build up the Matriculture School. Also, if you'd like, Sabina, I could share the new web page of Matriculture. I would just quickly show you what's coming to share the screen. So here we have our GDE Instagram account. Can you see it? Can you give me a thumbs up if you see it? Yeah, perfect.
We can see it.
So here you can check our videos, and here the work in progress for our Matriculture Wisdom School. So this is Narni, what Sabina was talking about. This is the place in the heart of Italy where we are, where the program is and where we have our GDE courses. And this website will soon be online. I will post the link. And then here we have the poster of Eco Aldea Nashira in Colombia, which will happen in February. Yes, and there will also be the possibility for volunteering. So you can come anytime and help on the land, help to connect with the land. We have 200 olive trees, which need to be harvested soon. Here is a picture from the Chiquie cultural dimension. And yeah, just quickly wanted to show you. And also we have a new newsletter. So if you want to stay updated, please subscribe to our newsletter here or here. So you can stay updated on all our programs. Sabina, should I share a video from one of those just
Yeah,
to close?
if we have time, it would be nice. You know, the living in Narni and all these Shidis that we have, this module that we have invented for this year is an 8 days module. So instead of doing 30 days, we're doing 8 days at a time in each dimension. So we already had the cultural and the social, and now we'll have the economic dimension, where we hope that Genevieve is going to talk to us on Zoom. But and this is, for example, in this dimension, my friend Maddalena Ferraresi, who is a beautiful, fantastic architect, they designed a sweat lodge. So I mean, so if you can see there, they're all working together to create this sweat lodge. And in December, we're going to make a ceremony and have it started. So this is the land, and it's work in progress. There's a lot of work to do. So we're also asking for volunteers to come and do things. But you see, the school in reality is also open to travel, because in February we're going to be in Nashira, Colombia, doing a 30 days program, and it's we're not going to be here, so it might be here or there or everywhere. So it's about bringing this culture, and the place needs to be built little by little. So here's it's a beautiful experience. So the sweat lodge, and that's Maddalena, that's one of the facilitatress of our courses. And maybe you can show, for example, we have ceremonies in which we dance to the goddesses, or we dance to the moon, or to all the we make a lot of things. These are all beautiful places. This is me cooking. There's a lot of cooking. You know, Italian cooking is a cultural part of the program, and it's also a gathering part. And yeah, there's ceremonies. There's a lot of things happening. This is the project work. We work also, I mean, in the summer, there's a camping. So in general, the facilitators, they stay in the house, but the participants usually are camping. There's a beautiful, but at the end of the story, if we're not many, we're all inside. So I don't have any problem in just having an inside camping. And this is us creating projects. And we're all in this together. So sometimes I'm also participant, sometimes I'm facilitating. You know, it's really, I'm learning, I'm teaching, I'm helping, I'm doing. You know, we're all in this together, and the roles are really sometimes, you know, they interchange. And also one very important aspect of our courses is that most of the people that join us, you know, they have skills. They have they're very skilled people. So we offer them a space for them to share with us their knowledge, their things, you know, that they know, you know, their talents. And so it's also an open space for people to create. And so it's always different, you know, it's a module that changes continuously. It's very organic. It's like nature, you know, you never know what happens. You know, I go into the Chiquie saying, wow, what's going to happen next? And even if we created it and we know we have a program, it's always, you know, very, very articulate and very sort of, how do you say, magic. I mean, we never know what happens. So this is it. And these are some of the, this is the summer. It's beautiful, but it's going to be beautiful in the winter too.
It is very beautiful.
Yeah, well, we welcome you to look at our Facebook, Instagram, our website, and to subscribe to the newsletter. And I think that's it. That's it for
Thank you
now.
so much, Sabina and Cory. That's very beautiful. What a wonderful launch. And then the second spiral this year, and then actually 30 days at Nashira, where that organization as a matriarchal village is well over 20 years. So that is amazing. A total immersion. I don't know, Jen or Chiquie, did you have anything that you wanted to add before I open up for questions? No. Yes. Okay. I did want to just make a comment because Sabina, you had me thinking when you put up the collaboration with Jen and Heidi Gutner Abendroth. I took a look and I just helped. We moved storage spaces of a lot of the material from the foundation this week, and I found there are additional copies of the Societies of Peace, Past, Present, and Future, the Second World Congress of Matriarchal Studies that brought together Genevieve's work and Matriarchal Studies. It was really hosted by Matriarchal Studies. So that happened in 2005. So next year it'll be 20 years, Jen, that happened. Now, this year, however, it's 20 years that a radically different world is possible happened in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's 20 years ago in November. And so this is very exciting for me because what happened when I went to this event, A Radically Different World is Possible. These recordings for this very first conference are on Jen's website that Diane will put up, gift-economy. And it was so exciting to be there, to have all of these women from the North and the South, the East and the West, Indigenous people and scholars and artists who came together to talk about specifically the gift economy. And then the following year, the collaboration where we saw modern matriarchal studies, and again, it was scholars, artists, Indigenous people, both males and females. It was the first time, I think, in the Western history that women and men got a chance to engage and hear matriarchal men who actually spoke from inside their matriarchal cultures. And that was a shift now for most people. So that was really exciting. And I see that Jen is excited now because I tweaked her memory, because I'm so excited and proud, Jen, that I got to be there for those two things. And thank you so much for all you have done to bring all of these people together. So yes, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you, Letecia. I'm glad you came to those things too, because we got to know each other better then and stuff. Well, yeah, when in 2003, I got a notice on email that there was going to be this conference on matriarchal studies in Luxembourg, and I had never heard of it before. And I went immediately because I thought, well, this is a great place for a great home for the gift economy. That is perfect collaboration. So there I met Heidi, and I actually asked her to give this conference in the US, but she didn't want to do it right away. And so I had the conference in 2004 on the gift economy and invited a lot of people there, as well as Heidi and other matriarchal studies people. and many people from various aspects of the gift economy, indigenous people and so on. And then Heidi came to Texas, and we organized the conference, and she organized the speakers basically, and so, or at least most of them. And so that was a series of 3 conferences, one in Europe that Heidi organized, one in the US that I organized on the gift economy, and the other one that we collaborated on and put together for matriarchal studies and the gift economy. So that's how that history happened. Her story happened. And since then, we've both of us given other conferences and so on. So we've collaborated since then between matriarchal studies and gift economy and many other different groups of people too. So.
Thank you. Jen, would you just mention the synchronicity of the logos?
Yeah, isn't that something? Because the one that's kind of more stylized is mine, and the other one is Heidi's, and we both did those independently of each other. And we had been using them all those years before, and then there they were. So
it was so very exciting. Both Chiquie and Sabina, I just want to thank you both for this amazing work, because the children need to be able to have the information as a remembrance. They don't have that overlay right away. So that Chiquie is doing that work, and what Sabina is doing with empowering women, so that this is where, on the ground running, women have to, as take responsibility and feel supported in their obligation to actually educate, which is what Jen and Heidi have been doing all of these years without much support. And now you're creating communities of support. It's so exciting to actually see the work and the curriculum develop, so that those that are coming through this door. And I was thinking, Sabina, one of the things that you talked about was the need to actually empower women so that they could actually change their paradigm, to be able to step over a threshold. And this is one of the things that Jen has continued to emphasize, that we must change our paradigm in order for this new world to blossom forward. And you're bringing those things together, Sabina, of the ancient, the present, and planning for the future with an embodied action, giving women the tools to be able to help them co-create a future together. It's just amazing. Amazing. So let me just check in with, shall we open it up to questions, or do either of you, Chiquie or Sabina or Cory, have anything else you'd like to add? Of course, Genevieve, you too, before we actually take a question. Sabina.
Wrong button. Well, I would like to invite, since I couldn't go to any of those 2 congresses, and I would have come if I knew about it. I discovered this whole world too late, too late. And it's also that, there's a lot of women that are so you were so lucky to be able to be there, and you organized it, you did it. But, I wished, there were more women that knew about it. And so it's time, Genevieve, Heidi, Letecia, to have another Congress, so that I can come too, okay? And Cory too, and Chiquie too. Probably Chiquie, she was there, but I wasn't, so I need to come.
Wonderful. Yes, Jen.
Well, the conferences are on video on YouTube and on our website, International Feminist for a Gift Economy.org. So you can go there and see the conferences. They're not lost to posterity.
Wonderful. Let me check in with Liliana for our first question. So Liliana?
Yes, I have a question from Lisa Hayes, and this is for Chiquie. How does the Montessori method address disruptive or aggressive behavior?
Okay, so it's very different than the patriarchal system. When there is like a disruptive behavior, like a child maybe getting in a quarrel with another child, perhaps for a toy, which is a frequent thing that happens, then you talk to them, even though they're only very young, 2 to 6 years old. You said, hey, what happened? Oh, and so you have to be both of the children, and because they don't have wording yet. And so you will go like, oh, you wanted a toy, and so you grabbed it. And so you go to the other person and said, how did you feel when somebody grabbed something from you? And then did you feel you didn't like it? You didn't want them to grab it, and say that. And, you give them wordings. You try not to tell them what they're feeling, but you try to help them to identify the feeling. Does that upsets you? That makes you feel uncomfortable? Does it makes you feel angry? You help them, and then you help them to verbalize it. And so you go and you say, well, then you need to say, give that toy back to me. And the other child probably will say no, and you said, no, you must give the toy back because you didn't have it, and you can ask. And so, the child might ask or not. But if the child asks, you tell the other person, you can say no. You don't have to say yes. You can say no, not right now. And so, or you can give it to the child. So you teach them like that, so both people are in the same stage, because usually on the patriarchal stage, the aggressor is in a higher place and the martyr is in a different place, and they're just they are left without any explanation to work their problems, or they're brought together to say, hey, say you're sorry, and say you're sorry. Okay, give each other a hug, but that's totally meaningless. And so Montessori addresses the problem and try to show the children how they can have a discussion about without being violent. But everything is different according to what's happening. But pretty much is consequences, and consequences are based on what the children did, while punishment is based on what the person that has the power decides to do. So there's different paradigms. There's 2 different paradigms. I'm not sure if that answered the question, but
Yes, it did, Chiquie. You do modeling for communication for the children so that they have language to be able to use. And then you also give them the opportunity to practice using that language together with you as a mentor there, so that they know that you're standing with both of them, that both of them are learning something new. And then they get to practice that. And then the outcome is based on what is agreed upon between the 3 of you. It's not one who has more power, who's more aggressive, gets to have the outcome. That's such a good and beautiful way to handle it, Chiquie. I'm curious. Yeah, you want to say something else? Yes.
Well, it's just that it gives them a sense of honor,
Yes.
which is very important for the human being.
Absolutely. It gives a sense of agency and empowerment. So with that word empowerment, I want to turn it over to Sabina and Cory, because women who are very passionate about things often might have a conflict when you're trying to get things done quickly. So I'm wondering if you've come across any of those incidences yet, and how you might handle that in your growing community, what kinds of things you'll put into place and implement. So Sabina?
Yeah, well, conflict resolution, we just put people into, we have usually, we ask that we ask to have, if there is a conflict, so far we haven't had, but I had many of these things, because I'm also part of Extinction Rebellion. So I've been into the movement for 6 years now, 2018, 6 years. And the nonviolent communication and, you know, these kind of conflict resolutions are techniques in which, you know, you ask, you know, there is a facilitatress. We haven't had so far, you know, to deal with that, thank goodness. But in general, there is a facilitatress, and you have a person that is sort of the two people that are in conflict, or even more. There could be even a whole group. And there is a real nonviolent communication facilitation in which everybody's heard. There is two turns in which we hear each other, we talk to each other, and we go deeply into the issue. So it's like, you know, it's really about sitting together with someone that facilitates, and everybody's heard, and everybody tries to you know, to sort of, and that is very healing, because in general, you know, people don't, you know, get into conflicts because they have preconditioning, or they mirror other things. So it's really about talking to each other. That's how we try. And sometimes it doesn't solve anything, you know, because there is also issues that are deeper in ourselves, but we try as much and to you know, sort of create this sort of safe space in which we can talk.
Yes. Cory, did you have any input to that you might want to offer? And then I'll go to Jen.
Yes, I would like to add something on the term of conflict, which is about, I want to describe it as male and female energy. So we all have the male and female energy within. And what I noticed in myself growing up in a patriarchal world, the male energy is nourished more. And so we're all in this conflict, or we're all in this, Wettbewerb, what is the word? Yeah, competition against each other. And I noticed that the female energy is not as competitive, it's more like with each other. And when I tell about the she to other women, especially, they say, but how can you be like a week or a month just with women together? Which is like, it doesn't have to be just women, but it was a course with women. And they're like, how is possible? They would all fight with each other and be competitive. And I say, no, because the normal, if you're in a safe place where you can express your feminine energy, you're not fighting with each other. You're not against each other. You're with each other. And to feel this sisterhood, and to feel also the wound we have as women with each other, feeling we cannot trust because we were put in a system where we had to be competitive, what is not our nature. It is for survival, but it's not for thriving. And the feminine energy is about thriving and abundance and growing with each other and nurturing life. So I think this is like for men and women, for all people, nurture your feminine energy to be able to get along with each other and to have less conflict. And if you do, to have the proper tools of conflict resolution. Yeah, that's my take on my journey, what I learned so far.
Thanks, Cory. Jen.
That comes out of conflict resolution, nonviolent conflict resolution, that is done by Mickey Cashtan, and she has a whole project of people that have, many of them have come from the conflict resolution studies, and they are ongoing now for many years. And so I think it's really cool that many different groups are trying to do the gift economy and the maternal gift economy that come from different sources that coincide. And even though we don't all keep our same perspectives, we do have a lot of commonality. So it's the movement that is burgeoning, that is just happening.
Yeah.
I just want to say a very short phrase, because I do believe that social development is the arena to teach maternal gift economy. And so I think that it fits very well.
Thanks, Chiquie. Yeah, I wanted to just add, the culture I come from is Filipino culture, and we don't, in our language and in our thinking, separate qualities of human qualities into male, masculine, feminine, female. The qualities are human qualities that are necessary for the development of males and females, humans. So we look at the qualities of what it means to be human in the same way that Jen thinks about the maternal gift economy as essentially human. It is something that is essential for, regardless of gender or sex, meaning the sex of a biological form, it is innate in us, that's stimulated and activated in a known way by our relationship with our mother. And so to get right to the root of it is to just go, what does it mean to be a fully functioning human? To be able to live effectively on this earth in relationship to what the earth is and all the things on it. But it brings forward all of these ideas because as a good elder, regardless of whether you're male or female, conflict resolution is something that is essential for you to be able to make it to be old. Let's just face it, So for those of us who've made it to be the old people, we have to give ourselves a little bit of credit that we managed to learn how to deal with our conflicts to be able to arrive in this room today. So thank you everyone for showing up. All right. Let me just check in with Judith. Do you have a question for us?
I've been having some intensive discussions in the last couple of days about cultural appropriation. And so I wonder if you could talk a little bit about whether anybody has ever said the things that you're teaching come from some cultural background other than your own, and what right do you have to teach them?
That's to both of them. Sabina, she wants to go first, and then we'll go to Jen, and then if Chiquie has
Thank
something
you.
to add.
This is a wonderful question because I really think that it's very, very important to always quote sources. And in the Shidi, all the sources are acknowledged all the time. So there's, as I said, the work comes from a whole series of incredible women, and mostly women. I'm trying very hard to find women and nowadays, and I'm trying to quote women because we really need to make an effort. If you go on the internet and you want to find something, you immediately, you have a hard time. You need to make twice as much effort to find, something that comes from women. So I have a particular, interest in that. But yes, I agree. And the quotes, I mean, in our courses, and the people are always acknowledged. And all the work come from the knowledge of all these women, Heide Gardner Abendroth, Joanna Macy, and anything or anything that we do has if you want to, a mother or a father. I mean, if there is a father, a mother or a father. So we don't, I don't we don't own anything. I mean, I'm, as an architect, I would like to say that, Renzo Piano, which is my favorite architect, used to say, every building has at least 5 presidents. That means that you don't invent anything. There is always someone before you that has done, some work for you. So we have, I have a lot of attention for this, because I find also in my culture, in the Italian culture, that there is a very deep, which makes me very angry, use of other people's work, reappropriation, changing just the word, changing the name, and making it, you know, their own, which is so not right, because you can just, you know, it doesn't minimize your work. I don't feel minimized at all to be working on, you know, on the foot of Genevieve, Vaughan, Heidegger, Abenders, I mean, other women, other people, because, you know, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. So, but it's a very, I'm very thankful for this question, because it is really an issue to always tell the source.
Genevieve, thank you. Thank you, Sabina.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I think it's maybe what the question means more is, are the European Americans appropriating Native peoples or matriarchal peoples' values and ideas without acknowledging that? And my own approach has been to try to realize that the maternal gift economy is the basic human gift economy. It started in prehistory with people in prehistory where babies were born vulnerable and they couldn't stay alive unless the mothers or somebody took care of them. So mothers and grandmothers prehistorically were the promoters of the gift economy. And that is also from in all societies, for all societies, we've had that. And our society, as the patriarchal capitalism and European American ways, has denied that and exploited it. So that's our society is based on exploiting or taking from the gift economy, and it's done it everywhere it's found it on indigenous lands, and it's taken the lands and it's taken the gifts and used those to create capitalist patriarchy structures. And this is the problem that we're facing now. And we have to realize that even we, as women of capitalist patriarchy, have those values underneath the patriarchal capitalist values. And we have to return to those as and link with and be in sisterhood with the native peoples, the indigenous peoples of all the world, and stop taking their things as patriarchy does, and instead collaborate as humans, as homo donans, as a matriarchal species that needs to survive on this earth, which is a very gift-giving earth.
Thank you, Jen. I would like to just add, you know, it was a bit awkward when I started my formal teachings for the goddess religion and witchcraft, because I have absolutely no European blood in me. And all of the histories, all of the training that I've had is rooted in old Europe. It's rooted in European Celtic teaching for the magic that I've learned. However, I am a person who has indigenous roots. And what I think is happening for the world today, and I'm grateful that we're having this time, that we're born today, is that there's a consciousness shift, it seems, that people are reconnecting to the earth. And the definition of indigeneity or indigenous people means you're connected to the land. And so in order for us to properly connect to the land, and this, Judith, is directly related to your question about what's appropriate and what's appropriation. when you know who your people are in your ancestry, and you know what their history was with their relationship to the land, their folklore, their history, even how their human migration happened, an evolutionary process when they came forward, you will find all the pieces that are still alive in what is considered modern day indigenous cultures. Why are they still indigenous now? Because they never lost sight of their connection to the land. My people, in the way that we identify ourselves, like many, are identified in relationship to the landscape that they come from. So my father's people, Ilongo, are from an area that are close to a mountain. Oftentimes it's close to a waterway, like my mother's family, it's close to the riverside. So there's lots of different ways. But when it comes to appropriation, when you're appropriating something, it means that you have not asked permission. So even me, I would not have ever begun to teach any of the things that I've taught without the permission of the teachers whose work it was. And I don't tell the story of an indigenous tribe or the folklore unless I ask somebody of that ethnic extraction or culture, because it would not be appropriate for me to share that story as a teaching story, because most of the folklore stories and the mythologies are teaching stories that support a cultural context for an entire embedded place. Now, that's the way that and that means for every indigenous person or story that I've told, I've had an elder who's given me permission to talk about it. Even inter-Filipino, I won't tell a mythology of another tribe unless I speak to an elder and ask them, is it okay that I actually apply this story in this way? And they will either say yes or no. And then oftentimes, if it's appropriation or not appropriation, comes down to if it's written in a public book and you give credit to the book, it's not appropriating, but you need to give credit where it comes from. Okay. And so I'm going to say this also in this term, Judith, so that you understand the way that we look at the Filipinos, the group that I'm with. There's a process of looking at colonization that happened, those who colonized and those who were colonized. You have to look at that and see where that is. And then you have to decolonize, which means you have to extract yourself. So first you have to know what colonization is and how your participation is with it. And then you have to decolonize yourself. And then you re-indigenize. So how do you re-indigenize? You re-indigenize through your own self, healing your own lineage, and then directly to the place that you are on this land. So when I'm living in Austin, my way of re-indigenizing is to know the animals and the plants of the land, to know the original people, not just the most recent people when the Americans came, but who were the original people who've been here 10,000, 13,000, 20,000 years. So that's my answer to you, Judith. The answer is that we all have these same indigenous values in our indigenous roots, if only you look at them. I don't know if that helps or not helps. And then if you're using a story or a tradition from another culture, if it was taught to you and you have permission to use it, then that's all you need is an elder's permission, no one else's. Okay, that's it. My sermon. Okay, Liliana, do you have another question?
Yes, I do. From Judy Ashby. She says, I am currently working in a middle school, high school, and see a great need for adolescent girls in my area. Is there any model for working with them and educating them in the maternal gift economy? This may be for Jen, or
You want to say it again, Jen? Liliana?
you want me to read it again, Jen?
Read it one more time.
This is Judy Ashby. I am currently working in a high school, and see a great need for adolescent girls in my area. Is there any model for working with them and educating them in the maternal gift economy?
Well,
Jen?
yeah, you know, I don't think there is. There might be, but I don't know about it. And maybe somebody else knows about it. I don't really know everything about the gift economy and who's trying to practice it. Maybe eco villages that recognize the maternal roots of the gift economy, those would be appropriate. But otherwise, I don't know.
Well, Nashira, definitely they're doing it there.
Yeah, the share would be great. Yeah, that's probably.
They're teaching by living, which is,
By
you know,
example, exactly.
yeah, it's teaching by living it, not just by example. They're actually being it. And as a curriculum in a school, it's a very different thing, as those who develop curriculums can tell you. It's because you don't have the opportunities. There is, I know, a couple of PhD theses. There's one out of CIIS where a woman developed curriculum for middle to high school students on matriarchy, which would probably include some gift economy, but that's the only thing that I've ever really heard of. Yeah. Sabina, do you know of anything? No? Okay. All right.
It's an important issue, though.
It's a very important issue, which is why, what's the saying? Does anyone know the saying? When you learn one, be one, teach one.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that. You learn it and then you be it and then you teach it. So yeah, that's what we really need. All right, Judith, do you have another question for us?
There are no more questions, but there's a couple of comments that in the or non-substantive questions in the chat. So one person asks for the reference to the book from 2005 that Jen referred to on the from the world, or that Letecia said of the World Conference in 2005. So if you have a way somebody could see that. Someone, Ingrid mentions a conference or a festival on matriarchy in the for Future World in Holland next year in July, and Carla asked for the name of the book. So those are just some comments and questions for references.
Great. Jen, I think you're going to be at that conference in July, aren't you?
I am, yeah. That's
Can you say it's in Holland? Is that where it is?
yeah, and then Heidi's group of matriarchal studies, women who have created a group based on her work, are putting that group is putting it on, and it's going to be in Holland, and maybe I can find the address. If not, we can send it out to the list if you would like. Okay. I just wanted to mention that the book from that conference on matriarchal studies is called Societies of Peace, and it's Heidi's book. So you look at Heidi Gertner Abendroth, Societies of Peace, and that's the book from the conference with all the essays in it, articles.
Great. Thanks, Jen. Sabina.
No, I mean, Matriarchy for Future, there's also the website where you can subscribe. I mean, I'm part of the group of matriarchal societies with Heide. So one of the people that is in our group is organizing this festival. And you can subscribe to matriarchyforfuture.net. You have it in the chat. You can go and enroll. I mean, there's still places. I know that there's still places available. I mean, it's going to be in a beautiful castle, and I'm going to. So I mean, it's part of our journey, and it's quite interesting. I mean, it's if anybody, you know, everybody should come. I mean, because it's an occasion to be together and to be in live, and well, we have time because it's in July to plan it if we can, and yeah, and that's what I know. So there's a lot of people that actually you can also have a space for talking, if you want to bring any subject that is important to you, you can bring it out. So it's a very good way to work, to be together.
Wonderful. Thank you. Liliana, do you have another question for us?
Yeah, I have a question for Sabina. Sabina, how do people apply to go to your teachings, and how much does it cost? And are they held in English or in Italian?
No, okay. I go from the last one. They're held in English because in Italian it's you know, they tried. I mean, the EDE programs are certified by Gaia Education. So if you go on the website Gaia Education, you have all these EDs, and mine is, you know, the one that I've founded is the She EDE, but it's part of the Gaia Education curriculum. In general, I mean, what I've been practicing is a sort of we have like 4 prices. So the minimum is you know, is a price that includes food and board. Then you have a price that includes also facilitation. There is then a price that also includes the person can give a scholarship to someone else, and then you have the fourth prize, which is actually, you know, you can also give money to the association. We are an APS, and so we work with the, you know, what, you know, people give us. So the price, the minimum price for a course at the SHED that is 1 month long is 1,250, and then it goes to 1,000 for everything. But I'm saying also another thing. If somebody writes and says, I have no money, but I want to come, we will try to give them a scholarship somehow. Because in general, people are very generous. And so you have people that give maybe more money, and people don't give anything, and people, you know, it's out of their heart. And so it's either 1,250 and it goes up to 2,000. In the case of 1 week, is the minimum is 450 and the maximum is 950, which means that you're in that range of money. But again, as I say, I had people that came and didn't pay anything, and we accepted everyone. So it's really for everyone to come. And we also practice a lot of, we work also with the tools in which, for example, we have a fishbowl in which there is a transparent way of showing all the money that we got and how we divided this money. And then we also ask people to sort of join in this sort of fishbowl in which we have the people that are facilitated, that are directly interested in the organization, that are in this circle. And then there is an outside circle with all the participants in which we talk about money. and what is that we need, what we would have loved. And it's a very interesting practice and tool, this economic fishbowl, that actually I've taken it from Dominique Barter, who is this amazing facilitator that works in Brazil in favelas. And he's been working in a sort of way in which people gift what they can for their courses. That's how we do it. We need money because we need to sort of survive, but we try also to ask people to, from their heart, what they can give. And also it could be also a way, you can bring other things than just money.
Okay, I understand. Also, there's a mention of matriarchal kindergarten. I don't know if it was Sabina or Cory. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, well, the Matriarchy Kindergarten was a project with 3 or 4 students that actually worked on this project for their project design, I would say thesis. And it's online, the whole project, and it's on YouTube because it's been filmed. And actually it was a woman that participated in the course was actually a woman that worked all her life. She was in her 50s, 60s, and she had just retired. Now she lives in Australia, and she had worked with children. And so she really was interested in getting all the information from the matriarchal culture, the culture of consensus, the culture of gift economy, all these tools, and putting them into this kindergarten. I can look at the YouTube and put it in the chat so
That
that
would be
you have
great.
an idea of this beautiful project.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
That would be
Wonderful.
great.
Okay, I know it's shocking, but we've actually almost used up all of our time. So I would like to be able to give closing comments from each of our speakers, including Jen. So Chiquie, would you like to offer some closing words and some last words for us?
Well, yes, but I got stuck in the question about teenagers' educational programs that have principles of gifting. And I think that I do think that Montessori does that. And some Montessori classes go as high as high school. But also there's the Reggio Emilia method that was actually also created in Italy, which involves from the beginning to adulthood. So it will be a good program to look into for that person that is interested in see what to bring to this young woman. My closing comments is that I am incredibly happy and always at awe to hear that so many things are going in the world. And I do believe that the gift economy, in my opinion, is the best approach for humans to find a world of peace and unity and community. And so I am one more time happy to be part of it. And I really appreciate all the new knowledge from the other speakers.
Wonderful. Chiquie, could you either type the name in of that last program in the chat? Can you do that?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Great. Wonderful. All right. Sabina, what would you like your last words to us be?
Sorry, I found the YouTube kindergarten project and I put it on the chat. So if you're interested, you can look at the video. And that is, one project of a thesis of Chiquie. Well, my words are, I'm so grateful to all of you, and I'm so grateful that all of you are doing so many wonderful things. And yes, that we are together, you know, and we need to create something together. The more we are together, the better it's going to be. And viva le donne. So I'm very happy. Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you so much, Sabina. Cory, do you have some words you'd like to offer us?
Yes, I'm full of gratitude for this beautiful meeting. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. It's really, really special to listen to these amazing women. And yeah, I hope to see some of you in the CDE ecological dimension end of November. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Jen.
Yes, thank you all for your beautiful work and your wonderful ways of explaining it. And I just wanted to say that we are part of a movement. This is a very important movement for social change that can bring forward this alternative to the terrible society that we are now experiencing and living in, that's so focused on death of all kinds
Yes.
and power over. And so we are a solution. Let's hope that the environment does not crash before we can create the alternative way of living that doesn't destroy things and instead nurtures things, life.
Thank you, Jen. As being part of a movement and you've been involved for so long, I'm as you were just mentioning that, I wonder, are there more opportunities for you to speak about what you're doing now than there were when you started?
Sure. Yeah, I had nobody to talk to when I started, but it's a long time ago, like 60 years ago. Actually, I talked to my husband back then, but I don't think he got it.
I think that is a little bit of a measure of where the movement has been, because now that you're being invited to many places as opposed to having to create the venues yourself.
Right. Yeah, it's really, it does show that there has been a spreading of the ideas and that people come up with gift economy themselves as well, you know, so it's really, it's hopeful. It's really hopeful for me anyway.
That's so exciting. That's really exciting. All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone for your attention. I especially want to thank Diane, who doesn't ever come on the screen here, but she is this solid presence with our technology that we just feel safe in this Zoom room. And she makes sure that we have what we need. I want to thank Liliana and Judith for organizing the questions. I know for me, being the moderator, it's hard for me to pay attention to what's written. Sometimes I see it scrolling, but we really appreciate your attention to those details. I also want to thank Sabina, Cory, and Chiquie. The work that you're doing in the world today, you're transforming every life that you've touched. And we can't thank you enough for the work that you're doing. And of course, Genevieve, who has been doing this for such a long time, not only creating opportunities for other women, but for herself to be able to have a community of people surrounding her that she feels shored up. I want to thank you all for the work that you're doing in the world. And for those of you who are in this room with us and those of you who are listening, I want to celebrate your innate curiosity and your willingness to not give up on this world and yourself. That you have gifts to give to the world and we have gifts to give to you. And together we bring forward this whole movement. So I just want to thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart. For the International Feminists for a Gift Economy, you lively group of women all over the world, you radical feminists, without your voices, without the foundation that you've laid out, many of these works wouldn't have been able to unfold. I want to invite you to come back again in 2 weeks for our next salon, November 9th, for our salon number 73. And Jen will be traveling to Colombia bringing a conversation of the maternal gift economy to an international group of attorneys. So Jen,
Women attorneys.
women attorneys. So she will be, if she has an opportunity, might be tuning in with us there. So just thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. And for those of you not here in the United States, think good thoughts for our election, that we stay the tide, and that we are able to make sure that our voices are counted and women are supported. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now. Take good care. Peace,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, Letecia.